So today, lads, we're going to be talking about Caitlin Clark and Unrivaled. Obviously, it is a story that's never going to fully end because whatever about her not playing this year, I think Unrivaled would be incredibly dumb if they're not doing whatever they can. You try to get Caitlin Clark in for next year because look, she's not going to be playing this year. But you just never know. She might just decide, you know what, screw it. I'll give it a go. I'll go and play next year, and if she's even considering that, I mean, you got to at least make sure there's something there for her to go to, and also to make sure that she knows that, you know, doors are always open. And before we get on to it, if you guys agree or disagree, subscribe. We're trying to hit 40k subscribers by Christmas. Right now, we have gained 15 subscribers today, so not too bad. If we hit like 39 to 30 by the end of the day, that would be absolutely incredible, lads. Thank you guys so much for all the support over the last 6 months. It would be credible to hit 40k by Christmas. So, we've already massively lost the sub battle with Angel Reese's podcast, which, fair play to her. Like, every single week that podcast is like, there is 3 to 4 like viral clips off that podcast. So, look, as long as it's not affecting her basketball, Angel Reese starting the podcast seems to be a smart idea because it's doing incredibly well. Either way, though, this is from Nafisa Collier's husband, who is also obviously involved in Unrivaled. He's the Unrivaled president. Opened up a negotiation process trying to bring Caitlin Clark to the league. 36 best players in the world. During a conversation with... What happened there? During a conversation with The Ringer, they said the league decided to go from 30 to 36 players, denying that it's aimed to attempt to sign Clark, and admitting it was about Alyssa Thomas. I know it was announced we were going from 30 to 36, and like because we were able to go get AT involved, because originally she was going to go play overseas and then changed her mind and is like, hey, I'm available. We were like, we've got to figure out a way for AT to play. So it was like, let's make an extra roster spot so we can give ourselves more time to recruit. So people think it was like, let's give us extra roster spots so we can have more time to recruit Caitlin. So now at the same time, like, of course, I've been on record saying Caitlin Clark will always spot in our league. And that is true, right? Like, we always want to be the home for the best of the best. It's also first team all W. You know, we went through negotiations. Inevitably, she needed time this offseason, which we respect. We hope next year, hope to see her next year. She won't be playing this year. So obviously, they fully confirmed it. And obviously, Nafisa Collier, during the finals, like, I remember reporting on this when I was literally at the WNBA finals, and they were talking about bringing Caitlin Clark to Unrivaled during the WNBA finals, which was a mad old thing, to be honest. But, like, that was what happened. That's realistically what happened in that scenario. And yeah, so it's funny the way they're saying is like, ignore the clickbait article, nothing to do with it. In an anecdote, more to do with Alyssa Thomas. Like, obviously it's clippable parts. I'll watch regardless. At least first couple of games turn out to be more like Athletes Unlimited than I'm out. They stupidly made CC the main conversation of another league. All they have to do is shut down and talk earlier months ago. All they did was leak what they offered to her to media to continue to anticipate more players knowing people were expecting her, and then it was kind of clear she wasn't coming. They had the weird 22 press release and a mystery players joining. So, like, that is true. That, look, this is the first time Unrivaled officially have said she's not coming, but they really did. They were like, oh, we added the extra spots for Alyssa Thomas. No, they added the extra spot. Like, they can lie all they want. Like, we know. And, like, look, bringing in Alyssa Thomas, I'll say it, is a positive of it. Bringing in Alyssa Thomas alone, they were not, oh, we're trying to get 6 extra spots to recruit Alyssa Thomas. No, as soon, like, they still announced they were trying to get Caitlin Clark. The Messi, like, deal came out, that, like, news thing came out after they went from 30 to 36. Like, the reality is that is what happened. That is what happened. It went from 30 to 36 because they were trying to get Caitlin Clark. That's the reality. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to admit, like, we were trying to get her, we gave extra spots. And you know what? Even though we didn't get her, we're still happy we gave 36 extra, or gave 6 extra spots, because it meant we got Alyssa Thomas. Because Alyssa Thomas wasn't in the original 30, and it meant that we could get Alyssa Thomas. Like, that's, the reality is that is what they're probably thinking. You know what? It wasn't that much of a disaster because we got Alyssa Thomas to play. But I'm sorry, you don't just have mystery players and stuff to bring in one player. Like, someone's bound to be injured. So something's bound to happen. And Alyssa Thomas could have came in. And look, I'm sorry. There was absolutely no way that Lexi Hull was Indy 30 before it went to 36. Like, there's absolutely no way. Surely not. Either way, it was... That's just the way it is with Unrivaled. Like, they will never stop. They'll never stop the whole Caitlin Clark conversations. Because the reality is that we live in Clip World. We live in Clip World. We live in a world where, I'll say this, it is a bigger deal. The Unrivaled draft will be as big a deal as any game. We live in a draft world. We live in a world where free agency news is the news. We live in a world where sports is almost a vehicle for drama. Sports is almost a vehicle for some other stuff. And it's like, like, that's the reality of the situation, is that people are going to be still ultra hyped for that type of stuff. And, you know, it's not the end of the world. Look, I think Caitlin Clark plays in Unrivaled at some stage in her career. I think we need to see how next year goes. I actually do. I think we need to see, one, how Unrivaled goes, and two, how next year goes just in basketball. If she comes out and wins MVP, there's no guarantee. Like, she could genuinely go and win MVP and then just say, you know what? I win MVP by relaxing the offseason. I'm still Caitlin Clark. I'm just going to chill, and I'm just going to go and try to win MVP, a second MVP in a row. I'm going to try win another ring. Because you just never know. You just never know. Either way, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that she'll play Unrivaled eventually? Do you guys think, nah, it's a foregone conclusion that she never plays it? That there's no chance of her ever playing in a league like that, that she's, well, just going to play in the W like Sabrina Ionescu and like Aja Wilson, and just play in the W and do nothing else because she doesn't need that extra money. And to be fair, most of the players, as much as a lot of them play overseas because it'll help them get better, a lot of them also only play overseas for money. So she doesn't need it. Maybe she'll have the off-season training. And realistically, I think it all comes down to her training. I think it all comes down to how well her training goes. And if she ends up feeling, coming into next season, like she would have benefited on the court from playing Unrivaled, she'll play in it in 2026. If she feels next season like she comes into it and she's the best player in the W next year, I think there's no chance. I don't think it is anything it's really going to be anything to do with money. I think it's going to be purely a basketball thing, and I think she's happy out doing some training, playing a little bit of golf, going to Butler games, going to Pacers games, and just living life a little bit. I think that's probably the case with her. See you guys.